Good morning. This is Gary Scarano from SunRise. It is a Monday and Wednesday podcast, and it's part of Dr. Sergio Khan's Returning Youth Initiative, where we are returning post-incarcerated and at-risk youth back into society by providing them jobs, education, training, and even the opportunity for ownership of businesses. Here on the SunRise podcast, what we do is we highlight different people who have experience with the juvenile justice system and the criminal system, or organizations. But today I'm very happy that we have a special guest, Krystal Sperry, who has some very interesting background and that she was able to overcome and have a very, very successful life. Please welcome Krystal Sperry. Krystal, good morning.
Hi, Gary. How are you this morning?
I am great, and I'm so thankful you're here, Krystal. Thank you for all your help. It's been great working with you in our joint Elevate speeches. But you have an interesting story to me, and I think a lot of other people. You have a lot of experience with, I hate to say it, but people being arrested. Is that true?
Yeah, so I personally have actually never been arrested or even had a ticket for that matter, but a lot of my family members have, including my dad and even my brother. So I've got quite a bit of experience with what it's like to have a parent go into, be incarcerated, to having family members come in and out repetitively. So I have a lot of experience with it, yeah.
So during that experience, what would you say has either helped people not get arrested, be a part of it, or what did they do to kind of hurt themselves and get arrested?
So I think that decisions when we'll just say for my dad was repetitively over and over again arrested when I was young and growing up, and he made decisions to, he was an alcoholic and he continuously used drugs and continuously used alcohol. And when he would get out of jail, they would put in place like a probation for a short period of time. And yeah, they would drug test him, but they weren't putting him through programs that were really actually helping him get clean. If he was clean because he just wanted to pass that drug test. And they don't really teach them how to interact with family again either. And so he kind of felt like he couldn't talk to us about it or about what was going on. And so different things would happen and he would end up right back in jail over and over again, almost my whole life.
So what you're saying is that the systems in place today really are not providing the support for those who are alcoholics or drug addictions or anybody else once they come out to really not repeat, not do the same things over. It's almost being encouraged to do the same thing.
Kind of, yeah. I think that they have some, like my brother he had to go through a drug rehabilitation program and it helped him. But in some cases, they're just not doing it. So it's kind of like pick and choose. It kind of seems like the people who maybe have only been in trouble one time might get this program. But if you're a repeat offender over and over again, they're just kind of like, toss him in the bucket. He's going to end up back in jail in 30 days anyway. And they just kind of leave it at that, is what it seemed like growing up. But the biggest thing was that there really wasn't anything in place to like get him back into our family, or how our family was supposed to deal with that. So
okay, so we're talking about support, many different types of support. You talked about drugs, you talked about family, you talked about relationships, people. All these things come into play. But I want to talk about you now specifically, because it's interesting that you grew up in a home. You talked about your brother, you talked about your father. You said he was rearrested many times. I don't know how many times, but it was part of your lifestyle.
mm-hmm.
How did you avoid that? Right today, I can say honestly, you and your husband are owners of two different successful businesses. You're a valued member of the community. You're a leader as part of the Daytona Chamber of Commerce. These are all exciting things. What did you do, and what suggestions would you have for others not to get involved if their parents or brothers or sisters or friends are involved in crime?
So the key is to make the decision that you want to be different, right? So my brother and I both grew up in the exact same scenario. We both went through the exact same situations and we went different directions. He ended up getting arrested multiple times. Ended up going to prison for a little over a year. For me though, I didn't want that. I just knew that I wanted to be as far away from that scenario and situation, and I wanted my children to have a different opportunity. So I seeked out resources in my community to help me grow and grow knowledge. College wasn't really something that, after I graduated high school, wasn't an opportunity that I saw possible because of the situation that I was in. So I've just kind of selected resources in my community to help me grow and become the individual and business owner that I am now. And it really was a matter of making the choice to pull myself completely away. Like, I live in a totally different state than everyone in my whole family does. I just didn't want to take a chance, and I didn't want to, not that I don't want to associate, because my dad was one of my best friends. I love him, and my brother is my best friend, and it was just more so that I needed to learn to live life a little differently and on my own.
So there's three things you mentioned I want to review here. Number one, you made a decision, and that's important. Anybody out there, you can make a decision not to be a criminal, not to be arrested time and time again. That's number one. Number two, you sought resources out there to try to help you. Thank goodness you found them. Education, whatever it is. Your brother said he went to detox. That's all helpful. But you did that. And the third thing you did is you separated yourself psychologically, to a certain extent, physically also, from those that you kind of knew if you stood with them, it would cause problems. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's kind of that old saying, you are who you hang out with, is really what it is. So if you're hanging out in crowds of people who are using drugs and getting in trouble, you're going to use drugs and get in trouble. And if you change who you hang out with and you surround yourself with people that are determined to become successful, you'll become successful.
There's an old saying that says, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. And I think that's exactly what you're saying, Krystal. I know this is a quick meeting. We really appreciate Krystal Sperry from Colts Remodeling and Repair Services. They're in Daytona Beach, Florida. And we're excited to work together with you. If the Returning Youth Initiative could help you and your businesses in any way, we'd love it. Please join us Monday and Wednesday at SunRise Podcast. We're at Returning Youth at YouTube, and we're also at returningyouth.com, returningyouth.com. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.